ഹായ് ഗൈസ്, വെൽക്കം ടു എങ്ങനെ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു.
We must say welcome back. Back to എങ്ങനെയുണ്ടായിരുന്നു.
You haters thought we were dead, but we are not. We're back.
യെസ്,
കുറെ മാസമായില്ലേ?
ഒത്തിരി. I think last we recorded was the horror of Valiban.
Wait guys, I have the perfect title for this episode. It's called വർഷങ്ങൾക്ക് ശേഷം.
Oh man.
Yes, that's what we're called, and I think this is the വർഷങ്ങൾക്ക് ശേഷം that you should be watching instead of the other one.
നീ കണ്ട വർഷങ്ങൾ ശേഷം?
ഞാൻ അതിന്റെ കുറെ സെക്കൻഡ് ഹാൻഡ് റിവ്യൂസ് കേട്ടിട്ട് തന്നെ എനിക്ക് പോകാനുള്ള ശക്തി ഇല്ലായിരുന്നു.
ഓക്കെ,
ഇവ മാത്രമേ കണ്ടുള്ളൂ തോന്നുന്നു. നിഖിൽ മാത്രമേ കണ്ടുള്ളൂ.
നിഖിൽ മാത്രമേ കണ്ടുള്ളൂ. ലൈക്ക് ഞാൻ ആഫ്റ്റർ പോയിന്റ് ഇനീഷ്യലി എനിക്ക് കാണണമെന്നുണ്ടായിരുന്നു, ബട്ട് ആഫ്റ്റർ പോയിന്റ് ഐ വാസ് ലൈക്ക് ഇനിയിപ്പോൾ ഇത് OTT കാണാം എന്നുള്ളൊരു വൈബ് എത്തിയായിരുന്നു.
അതൊക്കെ മതി.
So I think we have recovered after Malayalam Valiban, which was towards the end of Jan, and then we had a long break. I think multiple reasons. ഇടയിൽ ഞാൻ ചെറുതായിട്ടൊരു കല്യാണം കഴിച്ചു എന്ന് പറയാം.
കൺഗ്രാറ്റുലേഷൻസ്.
ബാച്ചിലർ ലൈഫ് കഴിഞ്ഞു.
ഇതിപ്പോ ഇവിടെ ആക്ച്വലി എംപ്ലോയ്മെന്റ് റെപ്രസെന്റേഷൻ വെച്ച് നോക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ഇറ്റ് ഹാസ് സ്ക്യൂഡ് വൺസ് അഗൈൻ. ഇപ്പോൾ 2 മാരിഡ് പീപ്പിൾ വേഴ്സസ് 1 ബാച്ചിലർ.
അപ്പൊ ഞങ്ങൾ നിന്നെ നല്ലോണം പുഷ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ടല്ലോ, നീ തന്നെ പുഷ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് മതി. കുറച്ചും കൂടി
പുഷ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് കാര്യമില്ലല്ലോ, ആള് വേണ്ടേ. എനിവേ, ലെറ്റ്സ് നോട്ട് മേക്ക് ദിസ് എപ്പിസോഡ് അബൌട്ട് ദാറ്റ്. ലെറ്റ്സ് കം ബാക്ക് ടു വാട്ട് വി ആർ ഹിയർ ടു ടോക്ക് അബൌട്ട്.
കേൾക്കുന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ സിനിമ നടനാണ്, ചെറിയൊരു ചാൻസ് കൊടുക്കണം.
ആരെങ്കിലും അതെ എൻ്റെ ഈ ശബ്ദം കൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ എലിജിബിൾ ആയി തോന്നിയാൽ ആർക്ക് വേണമെങ്കിലും ഞങ്ങളൊരു ഇമെയിൽ ID ക്രിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നതായിരിക്കും. അങ്ങോട്ടേക്ക് ഫാൻ മെയിൽ അയക്കാം. Anyway, so I think we should explain why we've not been doing this. പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് കാരണമൊന്നുമില്ല. Our timelines have just not met well. അതിൻ്റെ ഇടയ്ക്ക് കുറേ എനിക്ക് പണി ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു, പിന്നെ ഇവർ രണ്ടുപേരും വേറെ രീതിയിൽ ബിസി ആയിരുന്നു. But we are hoping to now come back to doing these regularly. So with that, I think since it's been so long since we've done an episode, we can do a catch-up episode, right? We'll just talk roughly about what is it that we have seen so far, and actually probably the worst time for us to take a break.
Yes.
Because a series of good films have come out. നമ്മൾ കഴിഞ്ഞ വർഷം അവസാനമൊക്കെ കുത്തിയിരുന്ന് കൂറ സിനിമകൾ കണ്ടിട്ട് ആഴ്ചക്ക് എപ്പിസോഡ് ഇറക്കിയിട്ടുണ്ട്.
We started the podcast in the worst time of the Malayalam movie industry, and exactly. We stopped when the Malayalam industry started booming.
Dedication നേരെ തിരിഞ്ഞുപോയി.
Yeah.
Anyway, actually നമുക്ക് പ്ലാൻ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു early in the year to do, when just as that hashtag was trending, we were hoping to do എന്തായിരുന്നു മഞ്ഞുമേൽ ബോയ്സ്.
മഞ്ഞുമേൽ ബോയ്സ്,
പ്രേമയുഗം ബോയ്സ്. we were planning to do, we were trying to be എന്താ പറയാ up to date with pop culture and do a പ്രേമയുഗം ബോയ്സ് എപ്പിസോഡ്. പക്ഷെ അവിടെ പാളിപ്പോയി. പിന്നെ നമ്മൾ നിരന്തരം യെസ്, നമ്മളതായിരുന്നു. അത് കാരണം എന്തായാലും ആ സീരീസ് ഓഫ് അൺഫോർച്യുനേറ്റ് ഇവൻറ്റ്സ് നമ്മൾ ഇവിടെ വരെ എത്തിച്ചു. വി ആർ ജസ്റ്റ് ഗോയിങ് ടു ദെൻ സ്പീക്ക് അബൌട്ട് വാട്ട് എവർ ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് ദാറ്റ് വി ഹവ് സീൻ ദിസ് ഇയർ സോ ഫാർ.
So how do we start it? Shall we go like from the time it was released?
One by one പോണമെന്നില്ല. Maybe we can just speak about what we have liked so far, and is all the hype around whether this is an insane time for Malayalam films is actually true.
So I think what we can do is we can just speak on, maybe one person will just speak on whatever they've seen, whatever they've liked, and then a little bit we'll dwell on that, and then we'll just move on. And I think the best thing to do is to start with the hype where it all began, that ഈ ഒരു ക്രേസി ടൈം ഫോർ മൂവീസ് ആണ് എന്നുള്ള രീതിയിൽ. സോ ഐ തിങ്ക് ദാറ്റ് സ്റ്റാർട്ടഡ് വിത്ത് പ്രേമലു.
നമുക്ക് മന്ത്ലി പോയാലോ?
അങ്ങനെയാണെങ്കിലും ചെയ്യാം. മന്ത്ലി ആണെങ്കിൽ we can start from Jan. I have a list in front of me.
Yeah, so why don't you mention what released in Jan?
Yeah. So okay. First thing I want to mention, which released in Jan, was Autumn.
Yes.
Autumn Oh man, what a miss. But I'm telling
Atom
you.
is
എന്താണെന്നറിയാം അതിൻ്റെ ഐ നോ ഇറ്റ്സ് എ ഗുഡ് ഫിലിം. ഐ ഹേർഡ് ഫ്രം എ ബഞ്ച് ഓഫ് പീപ്പിൾ ദാറ്റ് ഇറ്റ് വാസ് ഗുഡ്. പക്ഷേ ആ ഒരു സമയത്ത് അതിൻ്റെ ട്രെയിലറൊക്കെ കണ്ടപ്പോൾ ഇറ്റ് സീം ടു എൻ്റെ അപ്പോഴത്തെ ഒരു മൂഡിനനുസരിച്ചല്ലായിരുന്നു. ബട്ട് ഐ എം ലുക്കിംഗ് ഫോർവേഡ് ടു വാട്ട് ഇറ്റ് ഈസ്.
No, but I'm telling you, for me personally, when I saw this movie, it was already quite hyped up for me. ഞാൻ ഒ ടി ടിയിലാണ് കണ്ട്, തിയേറ്ററിൽ വന്നൊന്നും ഞാൻ അറിഞ്ഞില്ല. ഐ തിങ്ക് നാട്ടിൽ മാത്രമേ കൂടുതൽ ഇത്, ഐ ഡോണ്ട് തിങ്ക് ഇറ്റ് വാസ് ദാറ്റ് ബിഗ് ഇൻ ഔട്ട്സൈഡ് കേരള. ബട്ട് ഞാൻ ഇതിനെപ്പറ്റി അറിഞ്ഞു വന്നതും then I heard a lot of good things, and then you know how sometimes when the movie is hyped and then you're watching it hyped and then you feel like okay, this is not going to be as good as the hype. But honestly speaking, this was still a great experience for me. I felt it was worth the hype. I really liked the way it was taken. Koreyake എനിക്ക് 12 Angry Men എടുത്ത that kind of feel where it's a bunch of people sitting in a room and talking, and then how different views come into play and stuff like that. I think it's really well taken. I think it's really difficult to execute that kind of script, and like if we talk about this on paper, it might not sound great, but I think when it's actually been executed, it was great. And I think well done. A lot of new faces. എനിക്ക് ആകെ വിനയ് ഫോർട്ടിനെയും പിന്നെ കലാഭവൻ ഷാജോണിനെയും പിന്നെ I think the lady who acted is, I've seen her in മറ്റേ ഹിന്ദി സീരീസ് ഇല്ലായിരുന്നു ഫാമിലി മാൻ. I've seen her as a small role in that.
Zarin Shihab.
Yeah. But I think she also did a good job. I think it's a great watch. I think it's worth watching if you have some time. Just put it on. It's I think about 2 hours roughly. It's a great watch.
Even I liked it. It was really good. It was very different in sense that we keep thinking like who's the person, like Pillai ni kandittilla adondu I'm not spoiling it for you, but the ending of the movie was like really impactful.
Yeah. Really,
like that, you would understand. Yeah,
like you mentioned, like again, since Pillai have not seen it, not trying to hype it too much, but സത്യം പറഞ്ഞാൽ എനിക്ക് ആ എൻഡിങ് കണ്ടപ്പോൾ എനിക്ക് രോമാഞ്ചം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ലൈക്ക് some of the way the dialogues have been written, like I really felt something while I watched it, and I think that's a great feeling to have while watching a movie. It's really good.
Vinay Fort actually has been doing കുറേ നല്ല സിനിമകളല്ലേ?
Yeah, his selection is quite good.
Offbeat പടങ്ങൾ കുറേ വിനയ് ഫോർട്ട്.
Yeah,
I don't think he's a great actor per se, but he's decent. Like his choices and everything are good.
Yeah, good selection.
Yes.
Yeah. So shall we move on to the next?
What else came out in Jan?
Abraham
Osler.
I haven't seen it.
ജയറാമിന്റെ തിരിച്ചുവരവ് എന്നൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞ് ഭയങ്കര,
ഞാനത് കുറെ കേട്ടു ഇങ്ങനെ ജയറാമിന്റെ തിരിച്ചുവരവ്. പക്ഷെ ഞാൻ കേട്ടതിനനുസരിച്ച് എല്ലാം ജയറാമിന്റെ അഭിനയം പോലെന്നാണ് ഞാൻ കേട്ട. I mean only his appearance has changed and
honestly he's not really doing much for them to say that ഇത് ഭയങ്കര ജയറാമിന്റെ നല്ല പടമാണ്. He is someone in this movie who has insomnia. Okay, basically he cannot sleep and he has hallucinations. But does this play any part in the movie or the case? No. It has no this thing at all. The only thing is because he has insomnia, he walks a little slowly, staggeringly. അതാണ് ഇപ്പോൾ ആ സിനിമയിൽ ജയറാമിൻ്റെ തിരിച്ചുവരവ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. എനിക്ക് അതിലൊരു ഇതും മനസ്സിലായില്ല. ആൻഡ് മിഥുൻ മാനുവൽ തോമസ് whatever അഞ്ചാം പാതിരേൻ്റെ സെയിം സ്റ്റൈൽ സെയിം സ്റ്റഫ് ഒക്കെ ചെയ്യാൻ ശ്രമിച്ച് I felt like, see, generally thrillers are nice because you are curious to know what happened, right? I mean that's the whole aspect of a thriller. Just to find out, okay, ഇത് എങ്ങനെ അവിടെ എത്തിയത്, എന്താ സംഭവിച്ചത് എന്നുള്ളൊരു ക്യൂരിയോസിറ്റിയിലാണ് that's what they're trying to play. But this was such a played out trope, I felt. It's like, I don't know, it's like typically ഒരു ത്രില്ലർ എങ്ങനെ ഉണ്ടാക്കണം, ജസ്റ്റ് എടുത്ത് ഉണ്ടാക്കുക, അത്രേ ഉള്ളൂ. They know that because of that fact it will become some sort of a hit. So I didn't really enjoy it at all. I would not recommend.
Okay.
നിങ്ങൾ രണ്ടുപേരും കണ്ടില്ല?
ഞാൻ കണ്ടില്ല.
ഓക്കെ, പ്ലീസ്.
എനിക്ക് കാണാനും തോന്നില്ല.
അത് ഭയങ്കര ഒരു ഇപ്പോൾ വരുന്ന ചില സിനിമകൾ they seem like they should have been made 10 years ago, right? That's the kind of feeling that it gave me. That ഇത് ഇന്നത്തെ കാലത്തല്ല, ഇത് എന്തോ ഭയങ്കര ഡിറൈവ്ഡ് ആൻഡ് മേ ബി 2010s ഏതൊരു സിനിമ പോലത്തെ ഫീലിംഗ് എനിക്ക് കണ്ടപ്പോൾ തോന്നി. So I was not interested at all.
It really didn't pack a punch. So,
and it's not like Nikhil Thomas has ever been അങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു ഡയറക്ടർ whose projects you are like, oh, കാണണം.
എന്താ അറിയില്ല, അത് ആ അഞ്ചാം പാതിര ഹിറ്റ് ആയതിനു ശേഷം പുള്ളി ഭയങ്കര എന്തോ ഇതുപോലെയാണ് എല്ലാരും വന്ന് സംസാരിക്കുന്നത്.
അഞ്ചാം പാതിര was good. I liked അഞ്ചാം പാതിര.
Yeah, I remember watching it and it's not like I didn't like it. I think I liked it. But it's not a memorable film. എനിക്കിപ്പോൾ അത് അതിൻ്റെ കഥയൊക്കെ ചോദിച്ചാൽ എനിക്ക് ഒട്ടും ഓർമ്മയില്ല അത്.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so I think we'll move on from this, and after this was Malayalam Valiban, which I think.
Oh, so actually Jan didn't have too many good releases.
Yeah, it didn't.
It was from Feb onwards that all of this started, is it?
ആകെ 3 പാടം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നുള്ളൂ ചാനലിൽ.
അല്ല, വേറെ കുറേ സിനിമകളൊക്കെ ഉണ്ട്.
Other movies, but പേരെടുത്ത് പറയാം ഈ പടങ്ങളേ ഉള്ളൂ.
Okay.
നിഖിൽ ചോദിച്ച സ്ഥിതിക്ക് ഞാൻ കുറച്ച് പേരുകൾ പറയാം. നിഖിൽ ചോദിച്ചതല്ലേ, പാവം. There's something called Mango Muri.
Oof.
There's something called Malayalam PC.
എന്തുവാടി ഇതൊക്കെ?
എനിക്കറിയില്ല ആക്ച്വലി. And there's something called വിവേകാനന്ദൻ വിരലാണോ, ഇത് വൈറലാണ്.
വൈറലാണ്.
കമൽ
കമലൊക്കെ ഇപ്പോഴും സിനിമകൾ എടുക്കണ്ടല്ലേ?
What's his name? Shine Tom.
Shine Tom. Grace Anthony ഉണ്ടല്ലോ. Grace Anthony എനിക്ക് ഇഷ്ടമാണ്. She's nice,
but I have not heard of this film whatsoever.
Even I have not, and I am surprised it's a Kamal movie.
I didn't know he was still.
I've seen the trailer of this movie. It was really bad.
Oh my god. Yeah. Anyway, so that was the forgetful Jan when we were still active.
Yes.
And then came Feb, and some switch went off in terms of releases, right? Not like these films were made in Feb, but somehow they all came together.
Correct timing,
yeah. They came together. And suddenly, for the longest time, because it had been a while since Malayalam cinema really had a good film.
But not only Malayalam cinema, complete Indian movie industry and good movies were less. So that's also a factor that these movies got broader audience.
Correct, yeah. So the first of them, I mean, Ramayugam of course was already gathering hype when we were doing Malayalam. We were saying that Adi Vararai Aumbo we will be up on our alert. But unfortunately, I still have not seen it.
Oh really? I thought you watched it.
ഇല്ല, as in a lot of people told me that ആ സമയത്ത് എനിക്ക് തിയേറ്ററിൽ പോകാനുള്ള ഒരു അവസ്ഥയിലായിരുന്നില്ല. So I couldn't catch it in the theaters, and then because it was so much of it seemed to be about the acoustics and ആ ഒരു atmosphere ഇരുന്ന് കാണേണ്ടി വരുന്ന സിനിമയാണെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ I've still not watched it. I've been putting it off. So you guys can say what you felt about Brahmayugam.
Oh, I thought it was fantastic. In fact, when Nikhil and I watched it together, he happened to be in Bangalore, and then we happened to watch the movie together. Only mistake we did was that ഞങ്ങളുടെ ഏജിനെ കൺസിഡർ ചെയ്യാതെ ലേറ്റ് നൈറ്റ് ഷോന് പോയി. So we were a little tired after working day.
And the theater also wasn't that great.
ഏത് തിയേറ്ററിലാണ് പോയത്?
We went to Inox, I think. Basically, the seating was not great. I mean, the sound and screen and all was fine, but the seats are not that great. So we went with our respective wives who slept off in the theater. But this has nothing to do with the movie. The movie was great. I think I really liked it. It's a bit slow for me to begin with, but I think it's important for it to be slow because they're setting up that world. You know, it's kind of like a mythical world. Koreaga എനിക്ക് കണ്ടപ്പോൾ for whoever has seen Tumbad, I had some sort of a folklore feeling, and it was great. I think Mammootty was exceptionally good. Like especially towards the end, there are some of these expressions that he has to portray, and there are these fluctuations in his character which he goes through, and I thought it was great. Arjuna Shogane പറ്റിയപ്പോൾ അങ്ങനെ അധികം പറയാനൊന്നുമില്ല. He was also fine. I think he did a fair job for the role he was offered. പിന്നെ ഉള്ളത് മറ്റേ ഇയാളായിരുന്നു, ഭരതൻ്റെ മോൻ, നമ്മുടെ സിദ്ധാർത്ഥ് ഭരതൻ. I honestly don't know why he was chosen to be a part of that cast. I don't know what the reasoning is behind it, because it's not like he's a proven actor or a proven director or anything of the sort. But he did a fair job. I'm not taking anything away from him. He did a fair job, but I was just a little surprised at his choice, that's all. But I think overall, I think it was really worth that theater watch. It was really worth. I think Mammootty's been having that exceptional period that we've been talking about. He's really in his, it feels like he's in his prime, and I really liked it.
എന്തായാലും for somebody to be in their prime at the age of 70 something is insane. Because ഇപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ ഏത് കാലഘട്ടത്തെ ആൾക്കാരെ എടുത്താലും ആഫ്റ്റർ എ പോയിന്റ് obviously they are not as their usual primes will be their 30s or 40s. And sure,
Tilaganaka prime was in final years, right?
Yeah, but Tilagan was never a main actor. No, he was never like hero actor. Those kind of actors you can say that our later in life they find their groove. ഇപ്പോൾ മമ്മൂട്ടിയുടെ പറയുമ്പോൾ മമ്മൂട്ടി he's had a prime back in his younger days and he's still having a prime today. What a guy.
Yeah, props to him.
Yeah. Good selections.
Yeah, ബ്രഹ്മയുഗം എനിക്കും ഭയങ്കര ഇഷ്ടമായി. Like the atmosphere, the director really made that mythical atmosphere, like 18th century or something, right? ആ ഒരു atmosphere ഭയങ്കര അടിപൊളിയായിട്ട് he tried to portray. Even the dialogues also were like ആ ഒരു time frameലുള്ള dialogues are like believable dialogues. Also we could understand the dialogues. It isn't that ancient that we won't understand, but the dialogues were also really great. പിന്നെ എനിക്ക് എടുത്തു പറയാനുള്ള ഇതിൽ മ്യൂസിക് വാസ് റിയലി ഗുഡ്. ഇതിൻ്റെ മ്യൂസിക് ഡയറക്ടർ ഇസ് ക്രിസ്റ്റോ സേവിയർ. സോ ഹീ വാസ് എൻ അസിസ്റ്റൻറ്റ് ഓഫ് സുഷിൻ ശ്യാം. ആൻഡ് ഇതിൽ ഹീസ് ലൈക്ക് ഐ തിങ്ക് ഹീഡ് ബി വൺ ഓഫ് ഗുഡ് മ്യൂസിക് ഡയറക്ടർ ഫോർ മലയാളം ഇൻഡസ്ട്രി. സോ മ്യൂസിക് വൈസ് ഓൾസോ ഇറ്റ് വാസ് റിയലി ഗുഡ്. മമ്മൂട്ടി പിന്നെ പറയാനില്ലല്ലോ. ഫ്രം ദ സ്റ്റാർട്ടിംഗ് ഫ്രെയിം വെൻ ദേ ഇൻട്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ഹിം ഹി വാസ് ലൈക്ക് വി കനോട്ട് സ്റ്റോപ്പ് വാച്ചിങ് ഹിം. ലൈക്ക് ആ ഒരു ഫീലിംഗ്. ഈവൻ വെൻ ദി എൻഡ് മമ്മൂട്ടി പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് വി ഫീൽ ലൈക്ക് കുറച്ച് എം ടി പോലെ, ബിക്കോസ് ഹിസ് ആ ഒരു പ്രസൻസ് പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ ഒരു
No, and the fact that they chose to do this whole thing in black and white was also, I felt it's something I appreciated, because I think what they're trying to do is they're primarily trying to make you focus on all the raw aspects and not anything else. So that was also something interesting that they did, I felt.
And it's like a really good thing that ingante oru movie got success, because usually ingante experimental movies don't get itrem success. So I think it got some 60 or 70 crores, but for the budget aga 4 characters okke ullu oru location lo, it's like really good. I guess
I think most of the movies which have made money this year, I think in terms of budgets in Malayalam industry, we've not spent a lot of money and still we've hit almost 100 crores now. Remember that returns is mad. So because Hindi movies and all, they're using 100 crores to make the movie itself, and they're not generating probably 100, 150, whatever. So angane vechu nokkumbo it's really commendable.
Just off topic, since you mentioned the black and white thing, the Steven Soderbergh once made a recut, like in his spare time. He was interested in a sort of indie project. He took Raiders of the Lost Ark and he made a black and white film out of it. So if you're ever interested in doing that, so he was also trying to, like you said, focus on the directorial aspects of it rather than the set design and colors and such, which are when you watch Indiana Jones, that's the kind of things that your eyes will go to. But he wanted to focus on Spielberg's directing, and so he made a black and white cut of it, and he also used another score entirely, so the mood of the film is very different. So if you're interested ever, you should watch that.
Yeah, because I really like Raiders of the Lost Ark. I mean, I like that series. The first 3 movies, one of them was shit. I think 2 movies, first and third movie was exceptional. I think third I really like. It's too funny with
ഞാൻ ഇതുവരെ ഫുൾ ഒരു ഇന്ത്യാന ജോൺസ് പടം കണ്ടിട്ടില്ല. ആകെ കുറച്ച് സീൻസ് ഒക്കെ കണ്ടിട്ടുള്ളൂ.
No, it's a little dated now when you look at it, but
അങ്ങനെ കാണാൻ പറ്റില്ല.
But I think still
like Star Wars and
actually worse than Star Wars, because it's അത്യാവശ്യം racist okay, like, and when I say അത്യാവശ്യം racist, it's like not even
it's quite bad. ഇതിന്റെ second padam is called Temple of Doom or something, and that's based out of India. Okay. ഇന്ത്യയിലെ ഏതൊരു ടൂംബിലൊക്കെയാണ് അവിടെ കുറെ കിങ്സ് ഒക്കെ ഉണ്ട്. And it's like they show that these people, Indians rather, they eat like some random bugs and worms and like kannum angante endokyo weird saanangal. So it's quite racist, and Amrish Puri is the villain in that movie. It's very interesting.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And the thing you must realize is that these films are not all that old for them to be that racist. It's in the 70s that these are being made. So
Not even 70s, I think it's 80s, early 80s.
Yeah, 70s, 80s, yeah. So
Yeah.
you're really questioning Hollywood at that point. Right? How little
Yeah.
research do you do before making a film?
Yeah.
Anyway, that
But,
was off topic.
Yeah, let's come back to, I think, Malayalam. So I think 1 week before Brahmayogam released was Premalu and Anveshipin Kandathu.
Oh, good. Finally, I've watched both of them.
Oh. So I
also
think
watched both.
you speak about this and then I'll add.
Okay, I'll talk about Premalu first because it was such a big deal. And it continues to be a big deal, apparently. If anybody... My only active social media life is on Reddit. And on Reddit, Premalu continues to divide people. Mostly because the Malayalam movie subreddit is very badly moderated. So most of the posts will be something along the lines of... what did you guys feel about this film? And I think that's the worst kind of prompt to have to start a movie discussion, because you should really offer something on your own rather than just asking people what do they feel, because then that sort of becomes a dialogue about, oh, I liked it, I didn't like it, why, how come you didn't like it, how come you liked it, right? That's the kind of polarizing discussion that ends up being. Premalu, I think we have to set in context, right? Which is that Girish Eddy makes one kind of film, and you know what kind of film it is if you watched Tannirmathan and if you watched Super Sharanya. And then you go watch the trailer of Premalu and you're like, okay, this is another one of those films, right? If you go in mind, bearing in mind that this is what I'm going to watch, it was a hoot. I had a lot of fun. I watched it in the theater. The people I went with and the people who had otherwise come to watch the film were all ready to laugh, right? They were a good audience. So I had a good time watching it. But nevertheless, I think it's the weakest of his three films, if you compare the three.
Why though? I feel like Super Sharanya was weaker.
I think Super Sharanya, and this is something I've often wondered, right? Maybe we didn't like Super Sharanya because it's from a girl's perspective and we don't relate with that, right? Maybe women enjoyed it better. But let me compare with Tannirmathan first. Tannirmathan, I really, really liked. And not just because it was a comedy film, but I think as a film, it was very well done. Again, this guy has a problem with certain recurring tropes, right? For example, each film there's a psycho character. So in that, there was the Innathe character who was the slight psycho. And his psycho characters are the worst part about his film. Like, it can, if you just take away that part, or at least do it well, I feel like the overall film comes together better. അതിൽ വിനീത് എന്ത് ബോറായിരുന്നു, എനിക്ക് തീരെ വർക്കൗട്ട് ആവാത്ത ഒരു ആസ്പെക്ട് ആയിരുന്നു. ഒന്നുമില്ല, ലൈക്ക് എന്തോ ഇങ്ങനെ ഫോഴ്സ് ഫിറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്ന പോലെ ഫോർ എ ഡിഫറെന്റ് കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് കൊമീഡിക് ആംഗിൾ. But what I did like about it was that the interaction these kids had, and mind you, I am watching this at a like relatively ഒരു older age, so it's not like I am relating to that kind of school life. എന്നാൽ പോലും അവരുടെ interactions with each other etc. were ഭയങ്കര organic. The ways they played off of each other worked really well.
A fresh feeling was there, right?
Yeah. And best part is I like comedy films which don't take themselves all that much seriously. And that was the best thing about Tannirmathan. Which is that ഇവരുടെ worries are also so stupid. ഇവരുടെ frustrations എല്ലാം ഭയങ്കര low stake സാധനങ്ങളാണ്. Which is why the comedy works. But if you compare this thing, ഇതിൽ വേറെ like there are some attempts to do more than just that. For one, there is an attempt to place it into Hyderabad, the city, which never works for me, right? Which is that I don't know why Malayalam filmmakers are so lazy when it comes to a Bangalore or a Hyderabad. Avari kanikkunna okay is like avarthe oru IT area life, and that's it, right? Like avarku ainappra city endana avarthe oru, you don't get a sense of the city more than that. It's like a slice of Bangalore days each of them. So I think, and also the characters, it did not. For example, the Naslan and
Amal
Davis character, right? That those two played really well off of each other.
Yeah.
But the Naslan and
chemistry was really good.
Yeah, that was the best actually. But the Naslan and Mamita combo, I didn't enjoy it all that much. Like, it didn't seem like Mamita's character had anything to return to him.
Right? Yeah, that's true.
Because if you compare with Tannir, where he has a love interest going on in that as well, Adile Vashe Aneshwara is not all that important a character. Undu, but she's sort of side character, and it's very clear that idile iyalana main. The kid is the main character, right? Idile, but in Premalu you get the sense that it's both Mamita and Naslin have a similar standing, and considering that, I was hoping that her character would be a little more fleshed out, which was not there.
I think for me, Premalu, see, there were lame jokes, there were jokes which were genuinely funny, but add that to this combo of, like you mentioned, sitting in a theater with people laughing all around you, because I feel like some of the jokes, if I had seen by myself, I would not have laughed. But sometimes when other people are laughing with you, you also kind of end up enjoying it or enjoying that whole scene. But having said that, there were genuinely funny scenes. I also had a lovely time. In fact, Paru and I went, both of us had a lovely time. She really loved the movie. And what I really liked about the movie is the fact that that is the Naslin character, is unapologetically himself, no matter what, right? Like, he knows he comes from a maybe not a great background economically. He does not try in any way to show that he's from a better off background or anything of the sort. For example, അവർ വെള്ളം അടിക്കുന്ന സീനാണെങ്കിലും അവരിങ്ങനെ ഒറ്റയടിക്ക് നിപ്പനായിട്ട് അടിക്കുന്ന പോലെ അടിക്കുക, ഓർ AC train compartmentil കയറുന്ന സീനാണെങ്കിലും, all these things, he is not apologetic about who he is. He is not apologetic that he does not have a phone which works or angante stuff, okay? But he is more, in fact, excited about the fact that this girl is doing stuff for him and he's interpreting it as love. And all this is fine. This whole bit worked for me. What didn't work for me was the fact that towards the end, it's like he liked her, he confessed his love, she said she didn't like him, and then all of a sudden he's icing her out as if it's somehow her fault. I mean, he's acting like he's the victim of I don't know what. And then it's like, he ignores her and then she realizes that she likes him. I mean, this trope I don't really agree with. Like, the fact that girls can be friendly towards you and at the same time not have any intent of actually liking you should be normalized. It's not that, just because they're doing something for you, they like you, that doesn't translate into that love. I mean, that was kind of, I don't know, അതിങ്ങനെ അടിച്ചമർത്തിയ പോലെ എനിക്ക് തോന്നി, which I didn't really appreciate. But otherwise,
കല്യാണം കഴിച്ച സ്ഥിതിക്ക് ഇതൊക്കെ പറയും.
അല്ല, നമ്മള്
no longer part of that universe where that pain is felt. No, but I'm joking. I agree with you.
പടമായിട്ടാണ് വേണ്ടത്, ഒരു മായാനദി പാട്ട്.
No, but I agree with what you said. And actually, the Reddit kind of discussion that I was mentioning earlier is over this, that people are having debates that whether they actually should have ended up together. And they're talking about these characters as if they're already, how you would speak about, say, or Neelakandan, right? And that Neelakandan's been a thing. അവര് പേരെടുത്താണ് ഈ ക്യാരക്ടേഴ്സിനെ റെഫർ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. And like, the movie just came out, right? It doesn't have this kind of cultural impact that you guys are giving it credit of. Just stop doing it, right? Like I've been saying, the problem with keeping up with the internet conversation is that now we are keeping up with the conversation of a much younger crowd, and we are just not going to feel that
this
same
is the
emotions.
Tatatin Marathu for them.
Correct.
When we saw Tatatin Marathu.
We are slightly moving into Tanta Vibes territory, so
അല്ല, അത് ഐ ഹാവ് ഹോൾസെയിൽ അഡ്മിറ്റഡ്. അത് ഇനി ഒന്നും ചെയ്യാനില്ല, അത് മാറാനും പോകുന്നില്ല. ഐ എം ഗോയിങ് ടു കണ്ടിന്യൂ ഫീലിംഗ് ദാറ്റ് ഫ്രസ്ട്രേഷൻ ഓൾസോ. നോ, ബട്ട് ജെന്യുവൻലി, ലൈക്ക് ദ വേഴ്സ്റ്റ് പാർട്ട് ഓഫ് ഓൾ ദിസ് ഇസ് ദാറ്റ് ദേ കീപ് സ്പീക്കിംഗ് ഓഫ് നസ്ലിൻ ആൻഡ് വാട്ട്സ് ഹിസ് നെയിം, ജോസഫോ,
മമിത.
അല്ലടാ, അത് ഡൂഡ്
ആദി ക്യാരക്ടറാണോ?
നോ, ദ ഗൈ
Matthew.
Sorry, I keep calling him Joseph all the time. Anyway, they keep speaking of Naslin and Matthew as like Mohanlal and Mammootty of the current era. ഇതൊക്കെ കേൾക്കുമ്പോൾ it's like, oh God, please. First of all, Mohanlal and Mammootty have not gone away.
I'm seeing
so nobody gets to replace them.
I'm seeing reels of this Matthew in Premalu, like introvert guy എന്നൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് everyone is liking that character, but for me Matthew's character was like really
he was useless in the movie. It was really not required. മാത്യു വരാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് വെച്ചൊരു ക്യാരക്ടർ പോലെ.
സോ ഇതൊരു സോർട്ട് ഓഫ് വേൾഡ് ആണല്ലോ, ലൈക്ക് അനശ്വര, മമിത, മാത്യു, നസ്ലിൻ. ദാറ്റ്സ് സപ്പോസ് ടു ബി ദ I
Giri
guess
Shady
the
universe.
younger people are, for them these are important faces.
Yeah.
But what I would like to see is Naslin do something different with his voice modulation and his dialogue delivery.
He can't. That's not his thing.
But I think in Kurudi he did a different.
But the problem
audition, I
with
think.
this point
I think so.
thing is, you mentioned that he's in Kurudi, and then I'm like, oh, okay, he was in Kurudi, but I honestly don't remember him in Kurudi.
Yeah.
So then
Yeah, because
he
the
didn't really
movie
do a
was
good
not
job.
that. The movie also was not that
Yeah, sure. But still.
memorable as such. But yeah, I also liked Premalu as such. Like you guys said, it was a fun movie to watch. And in TV വരുമ്പോഴും I recently watched last week also with my family. അപ്പോഴും കാണാൻ the comedies ഒക്കെ എപ്പോഴും കാണാൻ it's fun. So it would be a fun movie to rewatch also. But overall as a movie, I don't think it's അത്രയും ഒരു ഹൈ സ്റ്റാറ്റസ് ഉള്ള മൂവി.
Yeah, it's quite like ആ ending ഒക്കെ എന്തായിരുന്നു?
ശ്യാംപുഷ്കരനൊക്കെ But guys, Premalu 2 is coming.
I know. And
Yeah,
actually it has
is-
already been adapted to Telugu, by the way.
Yeah,
ಅದು
yeah.
already
No, but sure.
Yeah, that is Premalu already dubbed for
അത് dubbed അല്ലേ?
dubbed and
sorry,
dubbed
not
for
adapted.
Tamil and
Yeah, they got it dubbed for Telugu industry.
Yeah.
I think that's also one of the major reasons why it got Itarim collection, because they dubbed it in Telugu industry, Tamil industry. I think Hindi also, I guess. Not sure.
അല്ല അത് പോസ്റ്റ് സക്സസ് ടൈം ഓഫ് റിലീസ്.
No, Telugu was
I know,
post-success.
post success only.
Yeah.
No, because അത്രയും ഡിമാൻഡ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. And
Correct. Yeah.
like I said previously, ഈ ഫെബ് ടൈമിൽ വേറെ നല്ല സിനിമകളൊന്നും ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല തമിഴ് ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയിലാണെങ്കിലും തെലുഗു ഇൻഡസ്ട്രീസിലാണെങ്കിലും. ദാറ്റ് റിയലി ഹെൽപ്ഡ് ഐ തിങ്ക് പ്രേമലു ആൻഡ് അതർ മൂവീസ് ഓൾസോ ഇൻ മലയാളം. ബിക്കോസ് ഞാൻ തിയേറ്ററിൽ കണ്ടപ്പോൾ ഐ തിങ്ക് ഓൾമോസ്റ്റ് ഹാഫ് ഓഫ് ദ പീപ്പിൾ വേർ തമിഴ്നാട്ടിലെ ആൾക്കാരായിരുന്നു.
നീ കോയമ്പത്തൂരിലല്ലേ?
കോയമ്പത്തൂരാണ്, ബട്ട് അതല്ല, യൂഷ്വലി ഞാൻ കോയമ്പത്തൂർ മലയാളം പടം കാണുമ്പോൾ ഇറ്റ് വിൽ ബി മോസ്റ്റ്ലി മലയാളീസ് ഓൺലി. ബട്ട് ഇപ്പോൾ വെൻ ഐ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് വാച്ചിങ് മൂവീസ്
That was a bit funny, sorry. തമിഴ്നാട്ടിൽ
അല്ല, മലയാളം
എന്റെ തിയേറ്റർ തമിഴന്മാരായിരുന്നു പറഞ്ഞു അങ്ങനെ.
അത് പക്ഷെ മലയാളം മൂവീസിന് ഇറ്റ്സ്
Fair. We get what you're saying.
Yeah.
ബട്ട് നൗ ഇപ്പോൾ എല്ലാ പടങ്ങളും കാണുമ്പോഴും ഐ സീ മോർ ലൈക്ക് ഫ്രം അതർ ലാംഗ്വേജ് പീപ്പിൾ ഓൾസോ വാച്ചിങ് ഇറ്റ്. സോ ഇറ്റ്സ് ഗുഡ് തിങ്.
But I don't know. 2 seems like a bit of a stretch for me. I'm sure maybe they have an idea. I hope it works out for them, but I don't know. I'm not really looking forward to it.
You know what? I think it will work out because this is the exact kind of film which is easy to follow up on. Because I like adeyonnu illalo. What is there? You just have to sort of make കുറച്ചുകൂടെ സ്ക്രിപ്റ്റ് എഴുതുക, കുറച്ചും കൂടെ ഓഡ് സിറ്റുവേഷൻസിൽ ഇവരെ ലാൻഡ് അപ്പ് ചെയ്യിക്കുക. Because what's working is the interaction between these funny elements in the...
I think most of the jokes also it's അവർ on the spot ഉണ്ടാക്കണായിരിക്കും. ആ ഒരു കെമിസ്ട്രി വെച്ചിട്ട്.
Sure.
I don't think this will be difficult to replicate. As you can already see, he sort of replicated his own films right across the years. Appo I think 2 and all is going to be fine. It's just I don't think this movie belonged to the same universe when we compared it to sort of clubbed it together with Brahma Yugam and Manjumal Boys, right? I think that was the worst part for me. That how is this coming close to Brahma Yugam?
Yeah, but you can say that it's a different genre where you don't have to think about
I feel it was like a time when you could go to the theater and whatever kind of moviegoer you are, there was a movie for you. It was that kind of a situation. Which works great.
No, but on that note, I just want to say one small thing, which is that comedy films don't have to be bad films. They can be very good, technically good comedy films. And this was not a technically good comedy film. It was a good comedy film. Time pass.
I think we quickly touch upon Anveshipin also, and then we can move.
Yeah, very bizarre film. Because I was like, did you guys want to make the first half or did you want to make the second half? Seemed like they had 2 scripts in their hand and then they decided that we'll do a thing and we'll just make both of them into one film. Because I got invested, right, in the first case and I thought it would go on for longer. And then somewhere around the intermission that goes away and then a completely new case starts.
Yeah.
So and it's not like the second case built on the first one all that much, except for the whole thing that, you know, ഇവർ ഇത്തിരി പേര് ദോഷം കേട്ട പോലീസ് ടീമാണ്. Other than that, വേറെന്താ ഉള്ളത്? Like, it doesn't have any payoff.
Yeah, it's the longest setup for a group of people I have seen. Like, one first of all, for a setup here.
It's like you could have added something more, made the first half itself a movie on its own, or you could have made the second part a movie on its own. So it was a bit odd in that respect, but not bad. It was fine.
Yeah, movie-wise it was made well and all, but
Yeah.
it wasn't atra engaging for me also, like you said. But overall, it's a watchable movie for me.
No, I feel like, see, this is the example of how not to do like an Osler, right? This is also a thriller, right? This is not great. I'm not saying this is a great thriller, but it's a good thriller. It's good for you to sit and watch. You are intrigued. It's made well. The characters are good. They're well rounded. They have some sort of, there is some logic to everything which is happening. So you want to make a thriller, at least make it like this. This should be the base benchmark that you should try to achieve, is what I felt. I like Tovino. I mean, in general, I'm a fan of Tovino. I feel like he's trying to do a lot of different things, at least in our industry. If you look at a lot of the people, I think he's trying to do different things. He has that caliber. He has that screen. I mean, he's hero material, no doubt about it. He could have easily not done this role. He could have been somebody else, but I think he chose to do it, and I think he did well, and I think he puts in his effort. I think that way it was a good watch.
I am constantly astounded by his ability to look different in films. And I think we have had this conversation off this podcast earlier, but his looks for his films make me feel like that's a character, right? And this is not just Tovino who's shown up for yet another film.
Yeah.
He genuinely looks, and I'm not only speaking about the way he styles his hair or his facial hair. I'm speaking of how his body looks, right?
Yeah.
It really changes. So you can take his character from 2018 and put it right alongside this character, and his mannerism, etc. So the way he uses his body is quite different.
Yeah.
But that's, I think, a very good skill. Of course, he's not all that talented acting-wise, but I think he does Innathe roles and all fairly well, which is, in this, he was perfectly fine, right?
Yeah. No, I think he has that ability to do like a serious role, but he also has good comic timing, like you probably saw in Goda and all, or Minal Murli, stuff like that. So he has that this thing, and he can carry a movie. Like he's you know, that is there. So I think he's nice.
Yeah, it was fine. This didn't get all that much of this didn't make that much noise, did it? It released
No.
right alongside both Premalu and Brahmayugam.
Yeah.
Premalu and Brahmayugam came the week after.
1 week later. Yeah.
So, but I don't know if this made as much, if it was really received the same way. But I don't think
it made as much money, but people were still talking about it. I mean, at least review-wise and all.
It didn't have negative reviews as such. Yeah, but because of the other movies, the standard of the other movies, it got down, I guess.
Did you guys watch Tundu by any chance? That also came out in January.
But it didn't really
in February.
Good reviews either.
I think that also came on the same day as Premalu and... Right, I guess.
Tundu came out in the week as Brahmayugam.
Yeah,
Brahmayugam. Okay.
Yeah.
But
I feel like this man is now becoming one of those. എന്താ പറയുക, ഇങ്ങനെ കുറേ റിലീസ് ഉണ്ട്, ബട്ട് there's nothing particularly to look forward to. There's nothing exciting. He's doing one of those common denominator films.
ബിജു മേനോനാ?
Yeah. ഇങ്ങനെ കുറെ സിനിമകൾ ചെയ്തു പോകുന്നുണ്ട്.
Once in a blue moon നല്ലൊരു പടം വരും, എന്നിട്ട് പോകും.
അതൊക്കെ എന്തായിരുന്നു ലാസ്റ്റ് ടൈം? ലൈക്ക് when is the last time he did one of those, അങ്ങനെ എടുത്തു പറയാൻ പറ്റുന്ന ഒരു സിനിമയൊക്കെ?
ഗരുഡണ്ടാ.
Oh my god, അത് പറയല്ലേ. അതേ പറയുന്നത്, പുള്ളി ഇങ്ങനെ കുറെ റെഗുലർലി സിനിമകൾ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. ആൻഡ് among those,
അയ്യപ്പനും കോശി, I think.
Yeah, I think that was his last one. But
it's quite some time back, no?
Yeah. And he just does the same thing across these films. അങ്ങനെ പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് വ്യത്യാസം പോലും ഇല്ല.
വേറൊരു പടം ഇറങ്ങിയില്ലേ?
തങ്കം വന്നില്ലേ?
തങ്കം was last year.
തങ്കം. Yeah.
That wasn't great.
No, I'm saying like what he did. I was just looking at his filmography.
No, I'm saying
Garudan,
Tangam is...
Tangam.
I'm saying he is doing films, but they're all the same.
ഒരു
Like
തെക്കൻ
Tangam...
തല്ലുകേസ്.
That's what I'm saying. ഇങ്ങനത്തെ കുറെ വന്നു പോകുന്നുണ്ട്. ബട്ട് എന്ത് സംഭവം?
ആർക്കറിയാം was good, if you guys have seen.
Yeah, Arkarim was good. Yeah.
Actually, he won the Kerala State Film Award for Best Actor as well.
I mean, that's hardly a marker of anything.
Yeah, but oh, guys, he won the National Film Award for Best Supporting Actor in Ayyappanum Goshim. So now I'm just like, what's happening?
But the other national award, I think that year went to Pushpa.
Allu Arjun, right?
Yes. So,
Oh, okay.
so that overall explains the state of our awards.
So
But tell me something, guys. What is this new thing? And I wish I had a list of this to tell you guys. But what is this trend of titling films from song lyrics? In February, there came out a movie called Mrudu Bhave Dridakritye.
Okay.
And then there was also Origi.
Origi.
Yeah, 3 Origis.
ഒഴുകി.
And ഇതിനു മുമ്പ് ഇങ്ങനത്തെ സിനിമകൾ വന്നിട്ടുണ്ട് which are just
Yeah.
song lyrics.
Yeah.
And you know, and that's the first sign that ആ സിനിമയുടെ അടുത്തൂടെ പോയേക്കരുത്.
അതെന്താ മേരി ആവാസിനു അങ്ങനെ എന്തോ
എന്തിനാണ് ഇങ്ങനത്തെ സിനിമകൾ ഇറക്കുന്നത്?
ചുമ്മാ I feel like they have the movie but then they're like ഒരു ടൈറ്റിൽ ഇല്ല. So
That's what like സ്വന്തം ഒരു
ജാനേമൻ പാട്ട് ബേസ്ഡ് ആണോ?
ജാനേമൻ? No, I don't think so.
but I think
Actually,
that was a nice movie though.
I think this can be
movie is good.
This can be homework for us. We'll pick a year each and bring a list of movies that have been named after songs. But I think other than that, we only have the big one, which is Manumel Boys. Also Family. Did you guys watch Family? Family.
Family മറ്റേ വിനയ് ഫോർട്ടിന്റെ ഡോൺ പാലത്തരയുടെ.
Yes.
ഇല്ല അത്
കണ്ടില്ല. I heard it's good.
ഞാൻ കണ്ടില്ല.
അത് എവിടെയെങ്കിലും ഉണ്ടോ? OTT? It's not there, right?
അറിയില്ല, ഞാൻ കണ്ടില്ല.
I don't think
I did watch Falimi though, but that was last year, right?
Yeah.
Falimi was a last year movie.
Yeah, I thought it was Falimi
we
you were
actually
talking about,
missed out to add it. I mean, it came out after we made our list of top 2023 movies.
Can we cheat and mention Falimi instead of Family then? Because I watched it recently and I really enjoyed it.
No, I only didn't like the second half towards the end a little bit, but otherwise it was a funny movie. I think
it was fun. Yeah,
it's well made.
Yeah, Basil Joseph's comedies just work, and I'm not
Basil
talking
Joseph
only about the ones he makes, even the ones he acts. Yeah. He has that Srinivasan energy from like a frustrated individual kind of energy, which is great to watch in comedy roles.
Yeah, I think it was a good good watch.
Yeah, and then they try to do the kind of it's also happening while they're traveling, right? I like that those kind of films, the random locations you end up in.
Yeah.
So yes, now we must come to the third of the trio, Manumel Boys.
Guys, നമ്മൾ ഈ പോഡ്കാസ്റ്റ് തുടങ്ങിയപ്പോൾ 2018 was the highest grossing Malayalam movie ever. Now it is Manumel Boys.
Thanks to the Pandipada. Right.
ശരിക്കും I am sure that song has really given a lot of mileage to this movie.
Yeah, my god, you social media തുറക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ലായിരുന്നു ആ സമയത്ത് ഈ പണ്ടാര പാട്ട് കേട്ട്. And now it's become trauma. അത് കേൾക്കുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് ഇങ്ങനെ എന്താന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ അത് ഓഫ് ചെയ്യാൻ തോന്നും. Tell me, Nikhil, what did you feel about Manumel Boys?
Manumel Boys was for me it was the best theatre experience I had this year.
Okay.
Because I watched it in the second day, so I didn't have much hype about the movie and stuff. I heard it was good movie, but ഇത്ര ഹൈപ്പ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല. I think by the time you guys watched it would have been hyped like anything. ഞാൻ കണ്ട സമയത്ത് it wasn't hyped that much, so when I watched I really liked. Also the audience, it was the opposite of when I watched Malayalam. So the audience was completely sync and every like full ella scenes the right responses were there, and it was really good to watch this movie. And overall it was, for me it was like a well-made movie in terms of the camera works. Camera was really good. Even the art direction by Ajay and Chalishiri, I guess that complete cave scenes and all are technically it was like really well made, this movie.
Yeah.
Otherwise story wise അങ്ങനെയൊന്നുമില്ല, but it was really engaging like throughout from I think only the starting ഒരു 10 minutes was little lagging, but once they go to Kodaikanal അത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് it was like completely in the next gear. And
this was a challenging film to go to because it had both Saubin and Srinath Basi.
You guys have ഒരു biasന്റെ opposite.
Bias alla, I mean I genuinely am I don't know what the word is exactly, but എനിക്ക് aversion ആണ് അവരോട്. Like എനിക്ക് മടുത്തു. Like
I get your feeling.
No, like എനിക്ക് സൗബിനെ ആക്ച്വലി ഇഷ്ടമായിരുന്നു. Like especially ഈ കുമ്പളങ്ങി ആ ഒരു പീരിയഡിൽ he was doing some nice roles, he was doing some good stuff. But then after that it's like for example ഈ ബ്രോഡാഡിയിലൊക്കെ അയാളുടെ ഒരു റോൾ ഉണ്ട്, ജസ്റ്റ് ഒരു എന്തോ ഒരു ഇവന്റ് മാനേജർ സെയിൽസ്മാൻ ആയിട്ട് ഭയങ്കര വളിപ്പായി മാറുന്നുണ്ട്. ലൈക്ക് എനിക്ക് ടെലിംഗ് അവേർഷൻ ഇസ് ദ വേർഡ്. ലൈക്ക് എനിക്ക് സൗബിൻ ഉണ്ടെന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ എനിക്ക് കാണാൻ ബുദ്ധിമുട്ട്. സെയിം വേ എനിക്ക് ശ്രീനാഥ് ബാസി എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ ഇപ്പോൾ ഇടയിൽ വെച്ചിട്ട് he was okay. It's not that he's talentless, of course he's also talented, but എന്തോ especially I think ആ ഒരു ഇന്റർവ്യൂ ഒക്കെ വന്നായിരുന്നല്ലോ where like you know he got really pissed off at some people who were taking his interview, and which was not really nice to watch, honestly.
Character wise I don't think
I mean
he's really cocky for what he brings to the table. That's the problem. I know he has a sort of different life around him, which is that pulli a music scene and all that he does. I am not very familiar with it, but I know that he's fairly into it. And back in the day he used to I don't know if you guys used to watch this channel called Rose Bowl.
Rose Bowl, yeah.
He used to I think Adile he used to host a music program and all.
I think I remember.
I don't know if it was Rose Bowl or some other channel, but anyway, so Srinath Basi has had that kind of life, and he used to, I think our time there was a taste in hip hop music before it became a thing, all of that. So he's had this hip hop aura around him for a while, right? Which is why now he's such good friends with Sushin and all of that kind of gang. Anyway, that aside, I just don't know what he brings as an actor to any script. Idile some scenes very good, right? But again, it's not something unique he's bringing to the table. So like you said, it's the kind of, you know that he's behind the scenes this really arrogant kind of character. So on screen കാണുമ്പോൾ just very irritating. Saubin, same reasons, right? He, in an attempt to experiment with range, he picked up some really weird mannerisms for his characters, which അത് ഭയങ്കര ഇങ്ങനെ ജാറിങ് ആയി തോന്നുന്ന കുറേ സാധനങ്ങൾ. സോ ഈ രണ്ടെണ്ണം കൂടെ വന്നപ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് I was like, oh my lord, how am I going to do this? But thankfully ഇതിൽ they made Saubin's character a very calm and composed one who doesn't really say all that much. And for a good part of the film, Srinath Basi is also incapacitated, so actually works out, right? You don't have to deal with both of them. I liked the film. It was not bad, but like you said, because I watched it at the end of all the hype cycle that it was going through, I really came away wondering, you know, what's all the hue and cry about? Like this is not. It was just Maluti with better camera work and music, right? That's what it was in terms of characters. And for me, usually that's the most important thing in a film. You can have as good a music scene going on, you can be visually stunning, but for me, when I watch a film, it's what are the character interactions like? Are they full characters? Are they characters who bring something in terms of how they interact with each other? അതൊന്നും ഈ സിനിമയിൽ കാര്യമായിട്ട് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല, right? Because you know that these people are friends, right? It spends some time establishing that, but അതിനപ്പുറം why should we care about them? ആ ഒരു ആംഗിൾ ഒന്നും ഇല്ലല്ലോ. ലൈക്ക് randomly Basi slips and he falls into this thing, but that little bit of a period where they're trying to convince that, you know what, no, you must bring him out, etc. I was not invested at that point. It was only once they started doing the rescue, then I was genuinely invested, because by that time the film had really put its claws in. For example, that scene where Basi falls down, oh my god, that scene was, I don't know how they shot that. That
transition was really great. Like at a young age he's jumping in the river or something, and then
and
they
then
transition to
the body falling, the weight that it conveyed and the kind of physics with it which was moving was insane. I was really astounded by that scene. And similarly, the choice, I don't know if this was his choice as an actor or whether it was a directorial input, but the kind of sounds that Vasi was making when he woke up, I think that was also important. Like, it was ഭയങ്കര ക്ലീശേ ആയിട്ടുള്ള അലർച്ചയൊന്നും ആയിരുന്നില്ല. It was just this really tortured, ഒരു broken body എന്ന് വരുന്ന ഒരു sound ആയിട്ട് convincingly തോന്നി. So from then on, the movie was really in its element. But until then, I was really struggling to see that what is this, right? And what was Salim Kumar's son's role in this?
I don't know. It's so irritating.
but he has lots of fans ആ മൂവിയിൽ. I don't know why.
For what? എന്ത് അവസാനം എന്ത് തിരിഞ്ഞു പിടിക്കാൻ പറഞ്ഞത് അങ്ങനെ എന്തോ
ആ സീൻ വാസ് ലൈക്ക് ഭയങ്കര ഐഡിയായിരുന്നു തിയേറ്ററിൽ. ലൈക്ക് ഭയങ്കര ഹൈ ആയിരുന്നു ദാറ്റ് സീൻ.
I mean, എനിക്ക് so if you guys are done, I'll move on to my inputs. So ഞാനും ഈ പടം ഹൈപ്പായതിന് ശേഷം പോയി കണ്ട്. We already spoke about the Saubin and Srinath Basia version. ബട്ട് ഹൈപ്പായതിന് ശേഷം ഞാൻ പോയി കണ്ട്. സോ ഇറ്റ് വാസ് എ ഗുഡ് ഫിലിം. ബട്ട് പിള്ളേ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ ഐ ഡോണ്ട് നോ വൈ ഇറ്റ് വാസ് സച്ച് എ ബിഗ് ഡീൽ. അതെനിക്ക് ആ സമയത്ത് മേ ബി ഐ വാസന്റ് റിയലി ഏബിൾ ടു, I was not convinced once I finished watching the movie. But I think it was a good film. It was technically well made. I didn't know that the whole cave thing was a set. I mean, not just inside the cave, but even outside where they're doing the rescue is a set. I didn't know that. I thought like maybe they were, but later on I found out when I read up more about it that, you know, they were not allowed to shoot there. They were just given an opportunity to go once or twice around that place to do a recce, and then they had to create that set out of you know that memory. So that was great. I felt like, you know, camera work, Shaiju Khalid, I think brilliant the way he's been able to capture. I think I'm sure it was an extremely challenging film. I like the fact that there was not a lot of melodrama. As in, even the scene when he's actually falling into the pit, it's like 1 second he's there, he's in fact having a conversation, and then the next thing he's not there. And the people around him are as confused as we are as a viewer. We are like, what just happened? Like, sure, we know he's gonna fall, that's the premise of the movie, but we are also like a little confused, like endappa just സംഭവിച്ചത് ആ ഒരു എലിമെന്റ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. That was great.
It feels ഭയങ്കര real world. Like really, if we had some experience like that, it would have been like that.
Exactly.
So feeling
that aspect was nice. I think sound design was great. I think Sushin Sham did a great job. And even that song that we were talking about, and the Kanmani Kannod, so adum I think was used very well. In fact, the fact that avane cave in pokkumbo aa paattu varunadum on all those things, you know, I think it was well used. It was clearly made so that people would feel that, you know, encouraging feeling of like a victory. പിന്നെ ലൂസിട്ട് അടിക്കുന്നതൊക്കെ അവർ തുടക്കത്തിൽ തന്നെ മറ്റേ ഇത് എസ്റ്റാബ്ലിഷ് ചെയ്തപ്പോഴേ എനിക്ക് തോന്നി ഇത് എന്തെങ്കിലും ഉണ്ടാവും. പിന്നെ അവർ കയറിട്ട് ഇറക്കുമ്പോൾ ഐ എം ലൈക്ക് ഐ എം ഷുവർ ദിസ് വിൽ കം ടു ദാറ്റ് ഇവൻച്വലി. ബട്ട് ഷുവർ ഇറ്റ്സ് ലൈക്ക് എ മാസ് മൂവ്മെന്റ് ഫോർ പീപ്പിൾ ടു എൻജോയ്, റൈറ്റ്? So that way I think well made. And I also like the fact that Basine പുറത്തെടുത്തതിന് ശേഷം he has that trauma that he's carrying, right? It's not like he came out and then he's like, okay, he's like a normal guy. I mean, it really shows like how you would actually be feel probably traumatic after such an event, have trouble sleeping and things like that. So I think all those aspects were well covered. Overall, definitely a good movie. I think it's a good survival thriller if you look at it. Yeah.
I just one thing that didn't work for me was the plot alla, the way that they made the sequencing, right? Which is that all of this is actually a flashback, because thodakkathil we see one random traveler going around which has received news of something, we don't know what it is. I thought that was a really weird choice in how to frame the whole story, because by the time we came to the end of it, I had forgotten about that.
Yeah.
Right? And now I'm like, oh my god, this is what that was. What a weird, I mean, as a filmmaker, I suppose it makes sense to you, but for somebody watching it, that's just not a convincing way to enter me into the story. So that didn't work for me. And one other thing, and this I wanted to ask you, because I have not seen Malayangunyo. Yeah. So Malayangunyo, somebody who I went to watch Manjumal Boys with, this person didn't enjoy the score that much, and they was telling me that you should compare it with Malayalam, and that's how to do അങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു rescue kind of film in the score. So he was comparing the two things, and I wanted to see what you guys felt. Ormendo, do you remember it to be a better score than this?
Malayalam Ramana.
Yes, yeah. Of course. So it's a sort of unfair comparison. Pakshe, I do remember feeling in this film that some of it was a little ഭയങ്കര ഒരു ഇങ്ങനെ ഡ്രമാറ്റിക് മൊമെന്റിൽ വയലിൻ അങ്ങനത്തെ very obvious kind of music choices ആയിരുന്നു ഇതിൽ.
But Malayalam, what I felt, I don't remember now, but at that time I felt the music was overdone. So I felt like എല്ലാ സീനിലും കുറേ മ്യൂസിക് ഇട്ട പോലെ ആ ഒരു ഫീലിംഗ് എനിക്കുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ഇപ്പം ഐ ഡോണ്ട് കുറേ നാളായി കണ്ടിട്ട്, ബട്ട് ആ ഒരു ഫീലിംഗ് എനിക്കുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. But I enjoyed Manyumal more than Malayalam for the reason that it didn't show only in the perspective of the guy who's stuck. So Malayalam the full movie is about the guy being stuck and he's trying to get out. So they're giving both perspectives, and they're showing mostly the rescue operation as the story. So I think this was more engaging for me. I don't know, Rajeev, what do you felt? Do you feel Malayalam more engaging?
No, honestly, like I don't remember the music aspect of it much, but in general, Malayalam, it's not that I didn't like the movie, but I felt that somewhere it lacked some sort of punch. Fahad was great, I have no qualms, and it's a good director also, it's a good music director. Everything is there, like on paper it should work, but somewhere something was amiss, I felt. But overall, yeah, I would still but like you mentioned, I think Manuel did a better job in terms of showcasing a survival thriller.
Yeah, but I think overall good film, but social media ഓവറാക്കി ചളവാക്കി എന്നുള്ളൊരു പ്രശ്നം മാത്രം. But I think that's something we can't get away with today, right? അതിപ്പോൾ ഒന്നും ചെയ്യാനില്ല. എത്ര നല്ല സിനിമ, മോശം സിനിമ ആയാലും the way people react to it is just, it amplifies both noises, right? So
I think the best thing to do is to watch every movie before the hype starts coming,
which is the problematic part, right? appo nammal risk aanu.
Risk is the thing, but at least what I did for this releases is now I started to see the first day reports and second day I watch, so at least to do
I'm saying the for me the problem doesn't go away there, which is that ഇപ്പോൾ ഞാൻ മഞ്ഞുമൽ ബോയ്സ് ഞാൻ നിന്നെ പോലെ സെക്കൻഡ് ഡേ കണ്ടെന്ന് വിചാരിച്ചോ, I'll still be frustrated 1 week later when I see all this halla around it, right? I'll just be like, ഞാൻ കണ്ടു കൊള്ളാം, സിനിമയൊക്കെ മോശമൊന്നുമില്ല, പക്ഷേ what's all the noise around, right? Because frankly I would prefer Janeman over this any day. For me, Janeman was an exceptional film to come out that year.
For me, Janeman hype കാരണം എനിക്ക് ജാനമൻ അത്ര ഇഷ്ടമായില്ല.
Oh, okay. എനിക്ക് ഇതും ജാനമൻ വെച്ച് നോക്കുമ്പോൾ I feel like that's a far superior film. ഇത് I don't know, something clicked and it came at the right time and തൂത്തുവാരി. Just a side trivia here. Romanjam actually had gone to Saubin for production actually, and Saubin for some reason had refused at that time, and then obviously I'm sure that was a decision he regretted because of how well it went on to do, right? But look at how destiny favored him a second time by giving him this film, and imagine the amount of money he's made from it, because he's in the production of this.
Yeah.
So
but he is probably thinking adum kodi produce cheyidana endoru paisa undakkanu.
Typical Akram.
But the person who might have been the most rich in this 2 months is Fahad, I guess. Premalu and Avesham. But before we get into Avesham, we can go to the next movie, Rajeev.
ഞാൻ ജോർഡനിൽ ആടുജീവിതം ഷൂട്ട് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ പറഞ്ഞ്
but I think ultimately when it came out, I saw it in the theater. I didn't want to miss it. In fact I was skeptical going into this movie because I was thinking, see, I knew the story. I know it's about this guy who gets stuck in a desert and then
he probably somehow escapes. That's the story. So I knew this is the story, and I know what I'm going to watch. So I'm like, how are they going to make this interesting for me? But I think they did make it interesting. It was a good watch. I think I can imagine how much they struggled to shoot in that desert, and and the kind of commitment Prithviraj has put into this. It's commendable. I mean, it really, I think, it's was a good watch. I enjoyed it.
I also enjoyed it, but I also read the book. So since I read the book, so basically this movie is an interpretation of Blessy of the book. So it's not exactly as the book. So ആ ഒരു ഫീലിംഗ് വരും why he didn't show this part of the movie or part of the book, because the book primarily focuses on this guy and his thoughts. So his internal thoughts is പിന്നെ the complete thing in the goat ഉള്ള സ്ഥലത്ത് he I had full thoughts, like he names each goat, and goatsൻ്റെ ഉള്ള റിലേഷൻഷിപ്പ് ഇസ് ഭയങ്കര ഇൻറ്റൻസ് ആയിട്ട് അതിൽ എഴുതി വെച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. സോ ആ ഒരു ഫീലിംഗ് എനിക്ക് മൂവി കണ്ടപ്പോൾ എനിക്ക് തോന്നിയില്ല. സോ ആ ഗോട്ട് ലൈഫ് എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ആ ഒരു ആസ്പെക്റ്റ് ഇതിൽ തോന്നിയില്ല. ബട്ട് ഐ ഓൾസോ സോ ഈ ബ്ലസ്സിയുടെ കുറേ ഇൻ്റർവ്യൂ. സോ ഹി ഓൾസോ സെഡ് ദാറ്റ് ഹി കുഡൻറ്റ് ആഡ് ഓൾ ദോസ് തിങ്സ് ബിക്കോസ് ഒരു മൂവിയിൽ വരുമ്പോൾ കുറേ ഒരു limitations ഉണ്ട്. because what he said is if he wanted to show all those things, he would have to had ഒരു extra 2 hours of content to add. Already this movie is around, I think, 3.5 hours. Okay, I think, right? 3 hours 15 minutes അത്ര എന്തോ ഉണ്ട്. So അങ്ങനെ നോക്കുമ്പോൾ it was like very big movie.
Clearly Blessy's never seen The Lord of the Rings. If that can be made into a film without missing out most of the pieces, then I am sure Rajeev is adaptable.
Yeah.
Actually, why don't our industries do director's cuts? I've not understood. Right?
Yeah.
Chinese
I don't think that's
budget illa no.
I think what കമ്മട്ടിപ്പാടത്തിന്റെ ഡയറക്ടേഴ്സ് കട്ട് വരും എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് ഇതൊരു
yeah. I suppose even especially with a movie like this, for him to have a director's cut, he would have to shoot a lot more, and I don't think that kind of stuff is possible.
But ഇതിൽ Blessy had added some unnecessary scenes which is there not there in the books.
അതിനുള്ള സമയമുണ്ട്. പക്ഷേ
Rajeev, you might know some scenes in the song sequences which were കുറച്ച് disgusting to watch.
Okay. അമലാപോള് പൃഥ്വിരാജാണോ? അതൊന്നും ബുക്കിലില്ല.
അത് പൃഥ്വിരാജ് സ്ക്രിപ്റ്റിൽ ഇടപെട്ടാണോ?
അല്ല, ഇറ്റ്സ് നോട്ട് ഈവൻ ഗുഡ് റൊമാൻസ്. അത് കാണുമ്പോൾ മനസ്സിലാവുക.
Which is funny, right? Like on the one hand you're claiming book, sorry, too long, can't adapt, random romance ഒക്കെ കേറ്റാൻ സമയമുണ്ട്. But I like the movie as a whole. First half I didn't like as much. Second half I think he കുറച്ചും കൂടി ബുക്കിൻ്റെ ആ ഒരു ഇതിലെത്തി. I like the performances also the other guy, what's his name, forgot his name, but the other guy
കൂട്ടാളിയായിട്ടുള്ള ആളാണ്.
കൂട്ടാളിറ്റി ഉള്ള ആള്, അയാൾ നല്ലോണം ആക്ട് ചെയ്തായിരുന്നു. പൃഥ്വിരാജ് ഓൾസോ ഫസ്റ്റ് കുറച്ച് സീൻസിലൊക്കെ ഐ മീൻ ദ ഇനീഷ്യൽ സ്റ്റേജസിൽ കുറച്ച് ആർട്ടിഫിഷ്യൽ പോലെ തോന്നി. ബട്ട് ആഫ്റ്റർവേർഡ്സ് ഡ്യൂറിങ് ദ എൻഡ് ഹി വാസ് ലൈക്ക് റിയലി ഗ്രേറ്റ്. ഭയങ്കര ഡെപ്ത് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു ക്യാരക്ടറിന്. ആൻഡ് ഓൾസോ ദ വാട്ട് ഹി ട്രൈ ടു പോർട്രേ വിത്ത് ഹിസ് ഫിസിക്കൽ അപ്പിയറൻസ് ആൻഡ് ഓൾ ദാറ്റ് വാസ് റിയലി ഗ്രേറ്റ്. ബട്ട് ഞാൻ നേരത്തെ ബ്ലസ്സിയുടെ മറ്റേ തന്മാത്ര കണ്ടപ്പോൾ ഭയങ്കര കരച്ചിലൊക്കെ വന്നു. പക്ഷേ ഈ പടത്തിൽ എനിക്ക് കരച്ചിലൊന്നും വന്നില്ല. ഈവൻ ദോ പൃഥ്വിരാജ് വാസ് ക്രൈയിങ് ഇൻ ഓൾമോസ്റ്റ് എവറി സീൻ. ഐ ഡിഡ്ന്റ് ഫീൽ ദാറ്റ് സാഡ്നെസ് അത്രയും ആസ് മച്ച് ആസ് ഐ വുഡ് ഹാവ് തോട്ട്. I don't know, Rajeev, did you feel atrayam sadness when you...
No, I didn't feel sad or anything, but of course the fact I was more upset about the fact that this was actually a real story, someone really went through this. And he's not the only one. He's someone who got out of it to tell the tale. I'm sure there are more people who couldn't really get out of such a thing. Like ഒരാളുടെ ഹെൽപ്ലെസ്നെസ്സിനെ ഇങ്ങനെ
അഡ്വാൻറ്റേജ് എടുക്കുക എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് എന്തൊരു ക്രൂരത. ലൈക്ക് സംടൈംസ് വെൻ സം സിറ്റുവേഷൻസ് വേർ ലൈക്ക് the world is such a cruel place എന്ന് നമുക്ക് തോന്നില്ലേ. This is one of those things where I felt like it's such a cruel place, it's such a cruel thing to happen to anybody. So അങ്ങനെ ഒരു ഫീലിംഗിൽ എനിക്ക് ബുദ്ധിമുട്ട് തോന്നി. ബട്ട് ഓഫ് കോഴ്സ് I wasn't emotionally connected to the character as such, to be honest. But the whole situation as such was quite jarring to deal with. Yeah.
Okay.
And then comes, I think, the one that we all waited for, but the one we never watched, Jai Ganesh.
Oh no! No, we shall not mention that heathen's name.
When is it coming on OTT? I genuinely, I'm going to try a hand at it.
Why?
Just to see.
But I heard it's decent. That's what I heard. As per
Bro, have you seen the
reviews.
poster? He who shall not be named on a wheelchair is doing some stunts or some shit. I just cannot.
What has this guy made before this? He's made Arjun and Sakshi, Sudivathiyam.
He made this
Ranjit
Punyalam
Shankar.
Agarbatis and
Yeah, Punyalan.
this
Yeah, not bad
there's
actually.
one
Nice
really
movie.
sad movie of Mammootty Varsham. And
Yeah, Varshan, yeah. He's also made Predam and Predam 2. So
Oh, that was really bad.
ഇയാള് ജയസൂര്യനെ വിട്ടിട്ട് ഉണ്ണുകുന്നനെയാണോ പിടിച്ചത്? ജസ്റ്റ്
Yes.
അല്ല ഇത് ആക്ച്വലി ജയസൂര്യക്ക്
കൊടുത്തു.
എൻ്റെ റോളായിരുന്നു. അല്ല കൊടുത്തായിരുന്നു, ബട്ട് ഹി ഡിഡ്ന്റ് ഹാവ് ടൈം. സോ
And then he went to
ജയസൂര്യക്ക് വേറെ റിലീസ് ഒന്നും ഇല്ലല്ലോ, പിന്നെ എന്താ ടൈം ഇല്ലാത്ത?
no, he's doing this Katanar.
Oh, Katanar, correct. Yeah. That's
Oh,
the
yeah,
big
yeah.
thing he's doing, right? Yeah. Anyway,
The
sorry,
hype
I was
on
joking
that
when I said Jai Ganesh, but obviously we are talking about Avesham.
വർഷങ്ങൾക്ക്
Sorry, there was one more opportunity there. I should have gone for it. But yeah, let's finish off Varshangalku Shesham, because I think you're the
Yes.
only one who watched it, and
Yeah,
neither of us cared much for it.
എന്താ പറയാനെ പറ്റി.
It's been making money though, right? Like,
Typical Vinith
No, but
Srinivasan padam.
it's the one movie out of these whatever big names that we've been talking about which didn't hit 100 crores, I think.
yeah, it's around 80, I think that's where it's at. But even that's big.
Yeah, I mean it's good, of course, no doubt. It's a hit, no doubt about it.
Yeah, and a good one. I mean, for 80 crores for Malayalam is a big sum.
Yeah, for sure.
And I know that yes, it's Pranam Mohanlal, there's Dhyan Srinivasan, there's that female, can't even remember her name, Kalyani.
കല്യാണി പ്രിയദർശൻ.
Yeah, so while these are names, I don't think they're the kind of big names that would have carried a 80 crore kind of revenue. So there is obviously there is a Vinith Srinivasan effect here, right?
Yeah.
So tell us.
It's a typical Vinith Srinivasan, feel good type padam. So I really like the first half of the movie. So everyone is saying the second half is the best. Like most people like the second half, but I like the first half in the way he depicts the 80s. So first half is completely different movie, second half is completely like Hridayam. So first half is completely dealing about the 80s era. അതിൽ സിനിമ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയിൽ എന്തൊക്കെയാണ് നടക്കണേ അതൊക്കെയാണ്. സോ ധ്യാൻ ശ്രീനിവാസൻ ഇസ് ആസ്പിരൻറ്റ് ഹു വാണ്ട്സ് ടു റൈറ്റ് ആൻഡ് ഡയറക്റ്റ് മൂവീസ്, ആൻഡ് ദിസ് പ്രണവ് മോഹൻലാൽ ഇസ് സോങ്സ് ഒക്കെ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ഹിസ് മ്യൂസിക് ഡയറക്ടർ ആവണമെന്നുള്ള ആഗ്രഹം. അപ്പോൾ ഇവർ രണ്ടുപേരും എൻ്റെ ഫ്രണ്ട്ഷിപ്പും ഇതൊക്കെ കാണിക്കണ ആണ് ഫസ്റ്റ് ഹാഫ്. സോ ഓവറോൾ ഫസ്റ്റ് ഹാഫ് ഐ ലൈക്ക് ദ സെറ്റിംഗ് ആൻഡ് ദ aesthetics. Only thing I didn't like is Pranav Mohanlal's acting and also Kalyani Priyadarsan.
No
but
surprises.
Dhyan actually did a good job throughout the movie. Overall, in first half he's കുറച്ച് യങ് ഏജ് ആണ്, in second half is കുറച്ച് ഓൾഡ് ഏജ് കാണിക്കണ ഇതാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ആ ആക്ടിങ് വൈസ് he has done his up to his limits. I wouldn't say it's like the best acting and all, but he has done a fairly good job. From second half it shifts the gear to the new age cinema. It is showing how the new ഇപ്പോൾ സിനിമ എങ്ങനെയാണ് നടക്കണേ, all those things. ബട്ട് കുറേ ക്രിഞ്ച് ജോക്സ് ഒക്കെ ഉണ്ട്. പിന്നെ നിവിൻ പോളി ഇടയ്ക്ക് വരും. നിവിൻ പോളി
ആൾക്കാർ എന്തൊക്കെ നിവിൻ ഇസ് ബാക്ക് എന്നൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞ അങ്ങനത്തെ
സോ ബേസിക്കലി സെക്കൻഡ് ഹാഫ് ഇസ് ഫുൾ സെൽഫ് ട്രോളിങ് everyone is self-trolling themselves. Pranav is self-trolling. So Pranav is like ഇപ്പോഴത്തെ ആക്ടേഴ്സൊക്കെ പടം അഭിനയിച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് ഹിമാലയത്തിലേക്ക് പോകും അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ ഈസ് ഇറ്റ് സെൽഫ് ട്രോളിങ് ഹിംസെൽഫ്. പിന്നെ അങ്ങനെ സെക്കൻഡ് ഹാഫ് ഫുൾ ഫൺ ഗിയറിലാവും. സോ ഐ തിങ്ക് ദാറ്റ്സ് വാട്ട് മോർ പീപ്പിൾ ലൈക്ഡ് ഐ ഗെസ്. അത് കുറച്ച് ഫെൽറ്റ് കുറച്ച് ക്രിഞ്ച് ഫോർ മീ.
My question is, as a viewer, when you're watching Vineet Srinivasan, because I don't understand who his audience is. It's not like he's one of those old-time movie makers who has a family audience who will, predictably go and watch his film. It's not like the young people are right now watching his films either. Angane. Who the hell is Vineet's crowd? Vineet's crowd technically are us.
Vineet Srinivasan movies, I think both family and young people are watching. I think that's the reason why the 80 crores hitting on. Because I think
thing is, his movies have some sort of basic quality that is there. Like technically and all, he is always I'm sure he has like some crew which he's carrying around. So it's not none of his movies are badly made. And all of his movies are in general, like let's say something which you don't have to apply a lot of mind and watch. You can just sit and watch and it's there, it's running in the background also, it's fine. So in fact, most movie going crowd is like that, is what I have realized over the course of a few years. Not a lot of people sit like us and talk about movies like this. For most people it's just like one entertainment factor. It's there, it plays in households and it's fine. Like it's just running and they don't have to apply like whatever. They don't have to think too much about it. But it's also entertaining. Korchu tamasha undu, adundu chiri undu, paattu undu, okay, kind. That is what he's doing. Because the only movie he's tried to make which is not like this is Tira. And he's clearly come out and said that Tira is not my kind of movie. I have dropped all plans to make any further sequels to this movie. And Tira was like a serious thriller kind of movie, right? So he's like, adu bhayangara dark aanu, like ende kochu valarunne ee logathil enikku ingane oru padam undakanda or some stuff like that, which is which is very weird.
Weirdo. Also, when will he give up his Karan Johar attempt at launching Pranav and Kalyani?
And it feels really forced. Ee padathile it feels really forced. For example, second half is full old age കാണിക്കണ. ബട്ട് പുള്ളിയുടെ മാനറിസവും ഡയലോഗ് ഡെലിവറി ഒക്കെ സെയിം ഫസ്റ്റ് ഹാഫിൽ കാണിച്ച 20 വയസ്സായ ചെക്കൻ്റെ ഡയലോഗ് ഡെലിവറിയാണ്. പുള്ളി 70 വയസ്സായ പ്രണവ് മോഹൻലാലിൻ്റെ ഡയലോഗ് ഡെലിവറി.
അത്രയ്ക്കേ പറ്റുള്ളൂ. പാവത്തിനെ കുറ്റം പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് കാര്യമുണ്ടോ?
ആൻഡ് ഓൾസോ കുറേ ഫോഴ്സ്ഡ് നൊസ്റ്റാൾജിക് ഡയലോഗ്സ് ലൈക്ക്
എനിക്ക് അതാ
മോഹൻലാൽ ആൻഡ് ശ്രീനിവാസൻ കോംബോ ഡയലോഗ്സ് ഒക്കെ ധ്യാനും പ്രണവനം കൊണ്ട് പറയിപ്പിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്.
എനിക്ക് ആക്ച്വലി അതാ ലൈക്ക് ഞാനിത് കണ്ടില്ല. ഒബ്വിയസ്ലി ഐ ക്യാൻ ഓൺലി സ്പീക്ക് ഫ്രം വാച്ചിങ് ഹൃദയം. ഫോർഗെറ്റ് ദ ബാഡ് ആക്ടിങ്. ഇറ്റ്സ് നോട്ട് ലൈക്ക് മലയാളം ഇൻഡസ്ട്രി ഹാസ് ഒരു ചാകര ഓഫ് ഗുഡ് ആക്ടേഴ്സ് ദാറ്റ് ദീസ് സീം സോ ബാഡ് ഇൻ കമ്പാരിസൺ. ബട്ട് ഇറ്റ്സ് ദാറ്റ് forced nostalgia, not even of his own parents in the generation, but also of weird things, right? Like college poye kalam. Like, my god, make 1-2 movies about it and get done with it, right? Like, iyala endu mudal thodangiyada college ne kurichu nostalgia adichu thodangittu. Very weird for somebody to be doing that as a debut or at least a novice film director. It's fine, but you've made a fair number of films, right? Now at least start experimenting with something else. What?
But overall, I think this was the weakest Srinivasan movie for me.
And that's saying something considering the rest of them.
ഞാൻ കഴിഞ്ഞ ഈ അടുത്ത മലർവാടി ആർട്സ് ക്ലബ് ഒക്കെ ഉണ്ട്. ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടായിരുന്നു ഇച്ചിരി. കണ്ടു.
അന്നൊക്കെ like it was considered a very good
film. It was such a big thing. Yeah. It was such a big thing. That's what I was like, and I never watched it. So I was like, ഞാൻ ഇപ്രാവശ്യം നാട്ടിൽ പോയപ്പോൾ I had some time. So I was like, I'll watch this. കണ്ടു നോക്കിയപ്പോൾ I'm sure it's dated quite a bit now. But എന്നാലും ഇച്ചിരി ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടായിരുന്നു കാണാൻ.
നമ്മളൊക്കെ എന്ത് ആഘോഷത്തോടെ പോയി തട്ടത്തിന് പറയത്തൊക്കെ കണ്ട് സൂപ്പർ എന്നൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞു. അതിന്റെ പാട്ട് ഞാൻ കഷ്ടപ്പെട്ട് ഇന്റർനെറ്റിൽ നിന്ന് ഇല്ലീഗലി ഡൗൺലോഡ് ചെയ്ത് ഫോണിൽ കയറ്റി എല്ലാ രാത്രിയൊക്കെ കേൾക്കുമായിരുന്നു. സോ ഓബ്വിയസ്ലി ദാറ്റ്സ് ദ ക്രൗഡ്, റൈറ്റ്? വി ഹാവ് ബിൻ ദാറ്റ് ക്രൗഡ്. It often seems to me that he's what's that guy's name who makes all those romantic films in Tamil? Innathe.
Gautam Vasudevano. GVM.
Yeah, is
Gautam Vasudeva.
the GVM of
Yeah.
Malayalam industry?
Vineet is a diehard fan of GVM.
എനിക്കത് തോന്നിയിട്ടുണ്ട് that this guy is trying to do that in Malayalam. That's what he's doing all the time. He's
GVM
coming of
പോലെ
age
അഭിനയിക്കാനും
kind of-
ശ്രമിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്.
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate really, where ഇത്രയും, I mean, he's not somebody who can't get dates of actors. He's not somebody who doesn't have producers backing him. എല്ലാം ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു പ്ലേറ്റിൽ ഒരുങ്ങി ഇങ്ങനെ ഇരിക്കുമ്പോൾ, if these are the kind of projects you're constantly making, it's quite disappointing. Anyway, moving on from Vineet Srinivasan and his obsession. We come to Avesham.
എടാ മോനെ,
അർമാദം.
Yes.
അർമാദം.
Chittu Madhavan has landed again with another banger film. Right? And when I say banger, I was not expecting this to become what it became. I was actually, first 10 minutes, I was like, oh god, maybe I've made a mistake. Because ആ കിഡ്സ് മാത്രം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്ന ആ തുടക്കത്തിൽ, it was a little bit of a, I was hesitant as to where this is going. It was not the best acting. Obviously, in terms of the story also, it had not come together yet. But then our man lands into the scene, right? Once Fahad is introduced into the story, once Ranganna comes in, then the film just locks into its gear, and then it's just upwards and upwards, right? It's such
you watched with your family, right?
and they enjoyed it, you know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
really? Nice.
my father was, my mom was constantly laughing. She was sitting next to me. My dad was sitting next to her, so he was a little bit away, so I didn't know his live reactions. But at the end of it, at the interval, at the end of the film, he told me that കഥയൊന്നുമില്ല, പക്ഷെ കുറെ ചിരിക്കാനുണ്ട്. So he really enjoyed the humor.
Nice.
Yeah. So clearly it worked for a wide range of audience and not just the younger ones.
Yeah. No, I think what this goes to show is that Jittu Madhavan has that skill to make a movie, to make people laugh. You know, he knows how to make a movie and keep people on their toes or keep people hooked. Having said that, I didn't honestly enjoy it as much as Romanjam. I felt like some of the jokes didn't land for me. Some of it I felt was a bit forced. Of course, story-wise, there's nothing much to it, honestly speaking. But നമ്മൾ ഇത് അറിഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഈ സിനിമയ്ക്ക് പോകുന്നത്. ഞാൻ മെയിനായിട്ട് ഐ വെൻറ്റ് ആസ് എ ഫഹദ് ഫാൻ ടു വാച്ച് ഫഹദ്സ് താണ്ഡവം, ആൻഡ് ഹി റിയലി ഡെലിവേഴ്സ്. ഐ ഫീൽ ഹി ക്യാരീസ് ദ ഫിലിം. He totally carries the film. Like, it's his show. I mean, without him, it's not working. And I had a lot of fun though. Like, ചില സീനൊക്കെ ഞാൻ കുറേ ചിരിച്ച്, I was thinking അവർ എങ്ങനെയത് കൺസീവ് ചെയ്തത്. For example, that scene where the gun goes off and then these people are just jumping each time the gun goes off. And I'm like, ഇതൊക്കെ ഭയങ്കര ഫണ്ണിയാണ്. Yeah, I'm like, how did someone come up with the fact that, okay, ഇതാണ് ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്, you know? അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ I felt it was really nice. And of course, it was a joy to watch Fahad. And it's also kind of like satirical, right? Where like it's not, it's comedy where like they're also making fun of you, who's also a gunda, who's serious, who's like someone to be taken care of.
It's like a spoof of a mass movie also.
Yeah, like
they have a lot of references to KGF and they have some references to Salar. So they're making fun of these kind of over the top masala films that have come of late.
The amme all Masi
KGF-le music അമ്മയുടെ മ്യൂസിക് റിംഗ് ടോൺ മറ്റേ അമ്മയുടെ KGF-le മ്യൂസിക്.
Guys just paused, right? He can't move anymore.
അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ was really great. Like the fact that he doesn't actually fight probably till whatever the end, and you know he makes people fight for him because അങ്ങനത്തെ കുറേ കാര്യങ്ങൾ. And to make good mass also, right? Like to make those moments where you feel like അവനിങ്ങനെ ഓരോന്ന് ചെയ്യുന്നത് കാണാനൊക്കെ I think it was overall, like I think it was
that
well made. Like the more we talk about it, I feel
introduction
nice.
was really great.
Yeah, it was nice.
Young Fahad.
Yeah, that was good.
Like our look was really nice. It suited.
Yeah, it's from a music video, some kind, I think French. I saw some link to that where same to same. Like, so the look is very borrowed, but it really worked.
Okay.
But the film was great. I did not like the music. I thought the theater where I went to watch was too loud, so it was a little jarring. But I thought generally it was a little too much of that EDM kind of forced EDM.
ഞാനും മൂവി കണ്ടപ്പോൾ I didn't like the songs much, but ഞാനിപ്പോൾ അത് കേട്ടോണ്ടിരിക്കുമ്പോൾ it's really
Same
catchy.
for me.
Songs are fine for me. It was the score more than anything that was a little too loud.
Yeah, it wasn't that like memorable score or something.
And also
The
very
Sushin
typical of so both in Tamil Mr. Anirudh and here Sushin both have found what works and they're just repeating it every film, right? So it's become a little saturating. I hope other people also get a chance to do this kind of stuff because ennaali ivarum they'll start doing something else. So it's a little bit of
But his songs are like really great. Like everything is
like a catch factor ഉണ്ട്. Like നീ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ before the movie released, when I heard the songs, I didn't really give it much thought. സിനിമ കണ്ടതിന് ശേഷം പാട്ടുകൾ കേൾക്കുമ്പോൾ like you can also kind of when this song is in what scene and all those things, and really catchy the songs. I really liked it.
well, that's also because you like the film, right? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
if you didn't like the
sure.
film, then you wouldn't still be listening to its songs. Yeah, comparing to Romanjam is a better film in terms of its idea, right? It's such a weird idea that you have these bunch of ragtag friends who invoke a predam for fun. Right, so as a concept I like that a lot more, but what was missing for me in Romanjam was that was a standout acting performance, right?
Yeah.
Which you get with this film, and that's what really keeps you hooked, which is that fine as a story it's not all that out there. You get this really weird sort of self-pitying gunda, which is a great hook, but anyway not as out there as Romanjam. But Fahad's performance and Amban's performance, right? The guy who is both of them.
Sajin Gobu, I think.
Yeah, Sajin Gobu. Both of them, fantastic chemistry. And it just went wherever it needed to go. In the sense of, there was never a dull moment once they had come on screen. Dumb charades and like, it's just like, what is happening, right?
Our tension in that scene was like it was both funny and
yeah, and that's a really difficult thing to act, right? Which is that you have to come across as comedic, you also have to be inspiring fear. Ellam at the same time cheyaanu parna. So yeah, Fahad was fantastic cast for this. Yeah, I really enjoyed the film. I really
the only
enjoyed
thing I didn't like as much or felt repetitive was the Avasanam Fahad goes full berserk, and it felt like similar to Kumbalangi where he's breaking the door and
Yeah.
a repetitive scene പോലെ എനിക്ക് തോന്നി.
Correct,
I don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah, and they never quite explain why it is that he's promised his mom that he won't do anything and why does he break it. Anyway, that's not important. I think that was them more pulling KGF's leg or Salar's leg. I wish, however, that the casting for the boys was a little different. At many moments it felt like Avarade dynamic didn't play off as well, and certain scripting also was a little weak here and there. There was, for example,
and also it kept shifting the main guy of the three group. Like first they showed the other guy as the main guy, the Mudiola aalu. Adinju pinne they shifted to the other guy. What's that guy's name?
That I understand, but that I didn't mind actually, because
Bibi.
The first guy that they show as the main guy, I really didn't like. Apparently he's like some famous YouTuber.
I think they started shooting him as the main guy, and in the end they thought this guy is better at him.
By the way,
but
this is where our Tanda vibes are also coming out. That guy with the long hair, I think he's some really famous YouTuber.
He's famous YouTuber. Korea kids love him, it seems.
I didn't know
the
he
video
existed.
കണ്ടിട്ടില്ല. Even I didn't know.
ഞാനും കണ്ടിട്ടില്ല.
But
whatever. എന്തോ PUBG ഒക്കെ സ്ട്രീം ചെയ്യുന്ന ആളാണ്.
But I didn't like him as such. In fact, the other guy slowly from beginning to second half he becomes a little okay. Bibi Narnak, main whatever, brotherly character. The third guy I actually liked a little bit. He was funny. Like I felt like he was actually nice. But
Eniki actually, do you remember that scene where Bibi just takes off on I think it was on Fahad, where he says that in the malarne kondonu ee malarne, and those dialogues are so bad, right? Like I know it's supposed to be frustration or whatever, but first of all, using the word malar itself, like, is that even a thing? Is it just something that we don't do, so I don't know? I don't know.
Maybe it's for the U certificate.
God knows. But anyway, so weeks, little bit here and there weak, but overall I think the project was it was great.
it worked.
And my God, what collection!
Yeah.
Yes.
They've made
Safa's
over
like minting
over
money.
100 crores. So
I think now first is Manjumal. I think third is Avesham, right?
Oh, really?
Overall.
Okay.
I actually haven't seen the list.
I think it Avesham might overtake Pulimurugan.
Thank
Or
God.
2018, right? Second.
Pulimurugan
No,
needs to be taken out of that
2018.
list.
2018,
Oh.
I think Manjumal 2018, then Avesham.
It's Manjumal 2018, Aadijeevitham, Pulimurugan, Avesham.
Aadijeevitham.
Yes. Aadijeevitham
Aadijeevitham
കുറെ
is third.
പുറത്തൊക്കെ
Okay,
ഇറക്കിയിട്ടുണ്ട്
okay,
അവര്. Plus, അങ്ങനത്തെ കുറച്ച് ഇതുണ്ട് അവര്.
Ah.
But Aadijeevitham and
it's,
Avesham still running. So it might just
Yeah.
beat Pulimurugan, Avesham. We'll see.
Oh, Manjumal went to 240 crores.
Yeah, 242.
Yeah.
apparently.
Damn,
Quite,
that's
really
high.
that's huge. Yeah.
Man.
Competition പോലും ഇല്ല between first and second. It's quite high.
Soubin just set for life, huh?
I think with that
Anyway,
we
so-
come to an end
Yeah, we come
of
to
our
the
list.
end, and
But just quickly, I want to touch up Malayali
2 more
from
movies
India
released, guys. Yeah.
and Nadigar.
Nadigar is out, right?
So,
What's the word?
yeah,
on it?
ഇത് രണ്ടും ഇറങ്ങിയിട്ട്
Not
people are
great.
saying Reddit is saying Malayalam industry is back.
Kureyano.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
not
great
good
or bad?
news. But,
Malayali from India also, is it?
Yeah, Malayali
Yeah.
from India.
That's what
അത്
I was expecting.
അത് മോശ.
More only, yeah.
നടികർ പിന്നും കണ്ടിരിക്കാന്നാ പറയുന്നത്. I don't know.
Yeah,
We
it's typical that guy DiJojo's the political things he'll exaggerate too much. That's what I heard about this movie also. So
We actually missed a film here. It's called Pavi Caretaker.
Pavi caretaker. Oh,
This is a new Dilip film, bro.
yeah, I know. about
Yeah,
this
it's,
one.
it's embarrassing. You should watch some of the interviews. Of course, I'm not going to watch the film. Pashe Pulli is now trying to completely rebrand himself as Bhangare Ripudnyalan. And I'm not kidding
he's
you.
basically
he
pleading
mentioned
people to watch this
Bhavana
movie.
in his interview. Like he
yeah,
mentioned
I saw
My
that.
God.
after
He
all the
നിർത്തി
shit.
പോയിക്കൂടെ?
Bhavana
Like-
also, Manju Warrior also.
Yeah, he mentioned both of them. Yeah, I was just like, oh my God, this guy no ulupu whatsoever.
No, you should know when to give up, right? Like it's just
No, but he's done, right? His career is done.
Yeah, he's done for sure.
He's trying desperately for the last couple of years, but nothing's working out and nobody wants to make films with him. So he's done.
എടാ നിങ്ങൾ ഈ പടം കേട്ടായിരുന്നോ? This the one I put in chat.
അഞ്ച് കടല
ഇത് മറ്റേതാ ലുക്മാന്റെ ആണോ?
Lukman and yeah.
It's on Prime.
Lukman
I
and
think, but
Chandan Vinod. Yeah.
I have not seen it though. അഞ്ച് കള്ള കൊക്കൻ.
ഇതും അത്യാവശ്യം കൊള്ളാന്നായിട്ട് I don't know. It's directed by Chandan Vinod's brother, I guess.
ഓ,
Okay.
അയാള് അങ്കമാലിയുടെ
ചെമ്പൻ.
ചെമ്പൻ വിനോദ്സ് ബ്രദർ
ആ
പോലീസുകാരനായിട്ട് ഒരു സീനിലുണ്ടായിരുന്നു.
But
But
is
I
there
think
anything
to look forward to, we have
ഗുരുവായൂർ
അമ്പലനടൽ.
Yes.
No, guys, you're completely wrong. Clearly, the one we must look forward to is called
Turbo.
Yes.
Yes.
വൈശാഖ്
I don't
പറഞ്ഞു.
know why, after his good streak, Mammootty has signed up for a Vaishak project.
Is
And
Vaishak
maybe-
trying to beat Pulimurugan's record?
It's possible.
മേ ബി ഇതായിരിക്കും മമ്മൂട്ടിയുടെ മറ്റേ ചീപ്പ് ത്രിൽസ്. ഈസ് ലൈക്ക് ഇടയ്ക്കൊരു ഇത് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ ഒരു സന്തോഷം.
It's true.
But it might be good also.
Oh, by the way,
What?
Guruvayur Ambalanadale is also yet another song lyric put into a movie title. It's a thing, guys.
അതിന്റെ
It's a
മുമ്പ്
thing that-
അതിന്റെ മുമ്പ് വരാനുള്ള പടം ഇതറിയോ? മാരി വില്ലിൻ ഗോപുരങ്ങൾ.
there you go. See, this is the thing. I don't know who's trying to do this. Are we out of imagination about naming our films?
അയ്യോ വയ്യ.
Anyway, I think Nadigar and Malayali from India will be waiting for OTT. I don't think anybody
Yes.
is going
Yeah,
for
no.
theatre watch.
Not really.
So maybe we can, in the meanwhile, do something else for next episode.
Yeah, I think we'll come up with something.
Okay. But yeah, hopefully we will continue doing this more regularly.
Yeah, we hope
Yes.
to catch you guys soon again, and thanks for tuning in if you did. So
Yeah, thank you guys.
thanks guys. So until next time, എങ്ങനെയുണ്ടായിരുന്നു?